that God chooses is the temple and the tabernacle, not the yeshiva. So you just said, this is why I'm saying this, because you said that after the temple was destroyed, the place that God chose was Yavne, which is a
Okay.
right?
So I
So I don't think
mentioned
that makes any.
Jerusalem, and I said that it's my opinion that being that it's the Chachamim who decide the place that God chose, the Sanhedrin chose to establish themselves in Yavne, just like they chose to
Yes,
establish themselves in Jerusalem, in
but the
Shiloh,
place that
because
God chooses is the temple. That's what
I'm
it's
sorry,
referring to.
what?
When the Torah says the place that God chooses, it's referring to the temple. It's not
No, no,
referring
no.
to
It's okay. So in the
the
Torah, like the word temple, like doesn't exist.
I
The word
know.
mikdash and mishkan are used interchangeably, but the idea that it should stay in one spot doesn't exist in the Torah. Okay, I mean you may believe it in faith, but that's for sure not in the Torah.
What I'm saying is that let's say when it says bring your sacrifices to the place that God chooses,
Yeah,
right? It says that, right?
yeah.
So that's clearly implying the place that God chooses is the tabernacle or the temple, however you want to
Oh
call
well,
it,
then
right?
from that perspective, you don't believe in the second temple because there was no ark in the second temple.
Well, they should have built an ark. I don't see why they didn't.
I mean, you can't
But
rebuild an ark. I mean, the ark
why
is the
not?
ark, right?
I mean,
I mean,
but
what are you going to put in it?
the Torah. I mean, you do what you
Yeah,
can. You
so
can make
this is why we
makeshift
need
tablets.
consensus. Here, like even the New
But that's
Testament,
very obvious. That's very obvious. But
these things
again,
aren't
that's why,
obvious. Here, look,
of course they're obvious.
common
Just because
sense
people
is
dispute them doesn't mean they're not obvious.
common sense is not common when you're running a nation. You need consensus. And this is, I'm not elevating rabbinical authority to anything heavenly. Okay, even the Talmud itself, there's a section of the Talmud called Masechet Harayot that deals with the errors of the Sanhedrin. They make mistakes, although God understands that you can't move forward without consensus. It's kind of crazy for me to think that you think that in the land of Israel, we could live out all the ceremonial laws by everyone doing the way they see fit. That seems, it just seems, I mean, even the New Testament, and I don't believe in Jesus in the New Testament, but it acknowledges the authority that the Jews in those days felt regarding the Sanhedrin, that they had authority, right? That these individuals sit in the, like in the seat of Moses, do as they tell you to do, but don't do as they do because he viewed them as hypocrites. There was always consensus amongst Israel, always.
Again, the place that God chooses is obviously either the tabernacle or the temple, not just the place where the rabbis reside. It's the place where God resides. So
Yeah,
I don't
no, no.
believe that.
Yeah, but that appears in the Torah. It says that the elders would judge in front of the tent
Yes,
of meeting. The tent of meeting
yes.
is essentially what became the room of hewn stones, right? They were always there, even though there was no ark like in the second temple, right?
The fact
Now,
that there was no ark just means there was something missing. Like they were
no,
missing.
that's fine. Okay,
You
you know,
know, but
but
it
so
was
I
still
said that Yavna and
brought
Tiberia
sacrifice.
was my personal opinion. However,
Okay.
the Mishnah like doesn't only include